New Hampshire State Representative Josh Moore is a self-described pro-family conservative and naturally a Republican as well. He recently said that unless exposing breasts in public during breastfeeding is banned, he should be allowed to grab the nipples of breastfeeding mothers. He posted this comment to his Facebook page, then he deleted it after all hell broke loose, but thanks to the advent of taking screenshots and the print screen button on modern keyboards, we do have a record of his statement where he said, "Who doesn't support a mother's right to feed? Don't give me the liberal talking points, Amanda. If it's a woman's natural inclination to pull her nipple out in public, no problem. And you support that. You should have no problem with a man's inclination to stare at it and grab it. After all, it's all relative and natural, right?" Now, the Amanda he's referring to is New Hampshire State Rep Amanda Bolden, who was shocked and appalled, understandably, that New Hampshire Republicans were trying to effectively ban breastfeeding in public. In New Hampshire, currently, both men and women are allowed to go topless. And that's actually the case in a lot of places. In New York City, that's the case, many other places. And there's a Republican-sponsored bill which wants to change that so that women could be charged with a misdemeanor if they purposely expose the areola or nipple of their breasts in a public place. Since when do family values include grabbing the nipples of women breastfeeding in public? That doesn't sound like family values, does it?
No, I just think it's really strange, the whole movement to try and suppress things that are perfectly normal, naturally occurring things that are supposed to happen. So I don't, of course, I think that this is a lame comparison, and, when I see someone breastfeeding, Dave, I don't have the inclination to go grab the nipple.
Right.
Maybe that is a problem for Josh Moore, but I don't know. What about you?
No, it doesn't happen to me either. And what this really is a part of that lunatic, authoritarian, strict father, supposedly Bible-based morality, right? No birth control. You either don't have sex or you have children and you take care of them. And when you're married, women had better be popping those children out. But when they do, and they have to feed those children, it had damn well better be in private because of, decency and areolas and stuff. And there's also the moronic equation of breastfeeding and indecent exposure, which is what underlies this. Oh, women are exposing themselves in public in an indecent way when they're feeding children, and we got to ban that. We've got to put that in the back room.
Yeah, what is indecent exposure? How do you define that? I mean, would he like to see charges against a woman who accidentally has her clothes ripped off by an escalator or something like that? I mean, would there be indecent exposure charges there?
Can we step back for a second and think about how insane this country is with the breast stuff? You can come up with any way possible to expose the base of the breast, right? It can stick out to the side of your shirt, on top, below. Anything's fair game. But God forbid you see nipple, Lewis. That ruins lives.
You know what's funny? This is not someone I really look to for anything, but Miley Cyrus said the exact same thing.
Really?
She said that the country loves breasts and they're everywhere, but everyone's terrified of the nipple.
And then the other hypocrisy is also that if a woman who is relatively flat-chested exposes her chest, that is wrong in many cases. But a man with any size man boobs, or I guess the right term is gynecomastia if we're speaking medically here, which I try to do, that's fine. I mean, just the absurdity of it. I will never understand this obsession with breasts.
I mean, it goes back a long ways because at one point they were sexualized, right? In many countries they aren't. And they're just out there all the time. And so, a long time ago, Dave, everything was covered up, much like many women in the Middle East now.
And in many places, nothing is covered up also. Let's consider that.
Yeah, and there was a time when even showing your ankle was considered pretty, flirtatious and risque and maybe even obscene.
Yeah.
And now I guess we've kind of retreated all the way back to the nipple. The nipple is like the last stand.
Yeah.
If we can get by the nipple, we're in the clear.
Oh, yeah. Even though nipples may seem small, they represent something huge in terms of the obstruction that they are responsible for in society. I like that, Lewis. Very, very good analysis.